God bless the flag, we all beating our chest. When it's peace, it's the same old game, the same old players, same old names. Right. My skin is my sin. My skin is my sin. My skin is my sin.
What's good, fam? How's everybody doing? That's what's up. That's what's up. This is Jobs, and you are tuned in to My Skin is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. From goons to gods, we welcome everyone. We only have one rule, and that's be respectful. And I don't know if you are aware that the home that one of my daughters was living in caught fire New Year's. And it's such an old home. I mean, it didn't completely get destroyed, but it's going to take so much to get it fixed. And it was a family home, and her grandmother stayed in the apartment house downstairs. And they lost a lot, and not only that, she was there for 35 years. I'm thankful that everybody is safe. I truly am. But we could definitely use your help. So if you have a moment, you have $1 or two, you could go to GoFundMe, look up Trinette Broom. That's Trin as in Nancy, E, T as in Tom, T as in Tom, E, B as in baby, ROOM as in Mary. And just help out a little bit. I definitely would appreciate it. And I know for a fact that the family would. They're good people, and I've been knowing them a long time. And I'm gonna keep it a stack. Like their grandmother. Oh, hold on. Let me get Afi in on the line. What's good, Queen?
Hey, peace, everyone.
It took you long enough. I'm gonna have to dock you or something. We're gonna have to work something out.
$5 fine. What's going on?
I was just nothing much. I was just sitting here, going over trying to invite people to this little live stream so we can actually get some type of participation, because I think this is an interesting topic that we got. And Rome allegedly calling in at about 8 o'clock, so we'll see. And I never really know what happened. Like when somebody invites you to, or either I guess apparently I've been ignoring it, and I do apologize if I ignored your invite and then invited you. That's I think I feel some type of way. Oh shit, we got a like. Shout out to that person. We don't usually get started till 15 minutes after anyway. But if you have a question, a concern, a comment, hit us up on the live stream. You can call up at 347-855-8692, and you got to press 1 to get on air. So how you doing today, Queen?
I'm good. Just, being a boss.
It must be nice.
It is.
Being a boss must be damn nice.
It is. I'd be like, hey, Alfie, get back to work.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm my own boss at this point.
I'm my own boss. I cannot sexually harass myself. I'll never get fired for working late. I can eat lunch at my desk. I ain't got to put no clothes on and go to work. It's great. My boss is hella cool. No complaint?
Yeah, I bet. And you not biased at all, huh?
Not at all.
Whatever. Oh, my goodness.
I got the job. I didn't even have to interview for the job, and I got it. So, no complaint.
That is pretty dope. Can't be mad at that. And shout out to you if you are your own boss.
It is quite liberating.
Yeah, but so I kind of figured out that there's a program out there called Periscope. Okay, so if you like basically link up your website, I mean not your websites, but your social media sites to this site, you're supposed to be able to broadcast live to all of those sites at the same time. So it only let me do Twitter for some reason. And I did like a 2-minute video, literally just talking to myself about how I can't get it together. So they banned me. I'm not exactly sure what a super producer is, but they immediately told me I could not use this super producer thing because I somehow had violated Periscope's or Twitter code of conduct, so to speak.
Well, are you already violating and getting kicked off of stuff?
I 2 minutes of me literally talking about nothing, and I don't mean anything offensive. Not even. I'm rambling. And shout out to Monica for sharing the live stream.
Thanks, Monica.
Yeah, Monica's dope though. Shout out to you. And if you are listening and you have been a victim of sexual harassment, and I think I spelled it wrong. I've been putting 2 R's, and you got 1 R. I just noticed that. But if you are a victim of sexual harassment, give us a call. Let us know your story. And just because we say there's double standard, I mean, we took the double standards approach. I don't want people to think that we minimize, sexual harassment in any facet. But it is treated differently. We have to admit that.
Mm-hmm. I would admit that.
Yeah, well, sometimes people don't want to hear, the unpopular side of the story. And I don't know what we got. Generally, like 1 more minute. Hold on, let me hit a couple more people, and then I guess we could jump into the conversation. It's just me and you and a couple of people listening anyway. So, and shout out to y'all. I was gonna play another song, but I don't want to go. Not with the topic. I don't want to go too crazy with it. So, yeah, that would just be kind of weird, playing a certain type of song and then want to talk about something. Yeah, I can't do that. But I will say, like, if you've tuned into the show, a few times, you may know that I'm a nurse, and in being so, I'm in a field that's dominated by women. The shit that I have heard women say at work, the things that I see them wear, the way that they intrude upon my personal space outside of work in some occasions, had I done the same thing to them, I'd be fired. Yeah. And I have jokingly over the years, I never really, like if I need to tell somebody chill out, that's never been a problem for me. But I've never went to like management and been like, such and such is sexually harassing me in a serious manner. Like I may joke about it and say, hey, that's sexual harassment, but I don't want to be that guy that goes to management and says that some woman was harassing me.
Not
and therein lies the problem. Huh?
But if it was a man, you would say something.
Actually, no. I would say something to that individual.
And if he kept doing it, you would say something.
If he kept doing it, I would wait for that individual in the parking lot and beat their ass. They gonna stop.
So you gonna whoop his ass, but you're not gonna whoop the lady's ass. That won't take no for an answer, but you gonna whoop his ass.
I am not. And the thing with women though, and it's not even. It's like it seems like with the men, if you get accused, that you are guilty until proven innocent. And now I can see if you have, it was recent, like with Trump, like you got caught on TV saying some abuse, some shit that if done would be harassment and or assault. But you got multiple women, I can understand your employer saying, okay, you know what, we're going to sit you down. Not fire you, not you have to quit. Let's sit you down and see how this is going. I could see that. If it's too many women in the office, every woman in the office, yeah, they're going to fire your ass. But if it's one person, why is that treated like it's 30?
Well, if we're talking about just like currently at the moment, sexual harassment and rape culture just happens to be a huge topic in the media at the moment. And it is an unfortunate thing, but it's a catch-22 because for so long women have been speaking their truth and, it gets swept under the rug, or you're being dramatic, you're overreacting, or the person was just being friendly, or the H&R, whoever just doesn't take it that seriously, especially if the person that's harassing you is of a higher position. It just doesn't always, women don't get the benefit of the doubt because of how patriarchal society has been historically. Now, honestly, the majority of what's going on now ain't got to do with black people, so I don't particularly, have an opinion on, whether it's a good or a bad thing. It's not our people going through the foolishness. I just wish we had gave it back to them, or we should be giving it back to them the way they was giving it to Bill Cosby. You know what I'm saying? So, you're not really getting that anywhere. But it is unfortunate, but now, feminism has made its way into just as much popularity as the LGBT, community. And
what does that have to do with sexual harassment?
Because women will quickly say, oh, it's because I'm a woman. It's sexism. You're not taking my reports seriously because I'm a woman, and then it's going to turn into a lawsuit for the company. It's going to be in the media, which is what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? And everybody want to jump on the bandwagon. You got some women looking for a paycheck, clearly. You got some women who really have gone through the situation years ago when it wasn't as easy to come out and get support and be understood as it is now. And there's strength in numbers, unfortunately. One woman, no one's really going to pay very much mind. It may backfire on her. She may get a lot of backlash. But when you got 20 women saying, no, this man has been sexually harassed, and it's been going on for 10, 15, 20 years, it's support. Everybody's not going to be legitimate. Everyone's not. But
True.
I don't think 20 different women that work there 20 different times that have no relationships with each other are all going to plot on one man all of a sudden to take him down. There's got to be a little truth in the situation.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then. At what point are those 20 women complicit in that culture being perpetuated? Because they sat around for decades or for 5 years all together enduring the same shit and not saying anything.
The whole time. But what people are not going to do is try to turn a victim into a perpetrator. That's what they're not going to do, because then they're going to get called out for saying, oh, this woman has been abused and harassed and she was traumatized by it, and now you're making her be responsible for what happened to her. Just like rape culture. It's a very fine line that you have to walk. It's just
and I don't want to offend nobody. I don't want nobody thinking that I was trying to turn them into the abuser. But we got to have a dialogue about it.
It's a valid question, though. It's a valid question. But that's why when you deal with these corporations, and especially when the person that's being accused is someone of a little bit of power or some kind of standing or clout with that particular company, it's not going to look good to turn around and call the victim, hey, you should have said something earlier.
Yeah, that's true.
Because really, you could say, well, what if they were traumatized? Or what if, they needed the job? They had a young family. They were paying their way through school or this, that. You know what I mean? It could be a bunch of reasons why. But me as a person who really believes in accountability and self-responsibility, yeah, there's a little bit of fault that lies with them, too, with not saying anything sooner instead of needing other people to make the platform for you, and then you're encouraged enough to say something. But everybody's not as, everyone's not as strong. Everyone's voice is not as strong,
Oh, and my apologies. Like the live stream just went berserk.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I just happened to look up and notice that people was in the stream, like, talking about it. So I don't know if I just erased it. Yeah, I did kind of fix it.
I just gave that good-ass explanation, and they didn't even hear it. Man.
Yeah. It was an all right explanation. No, I'm just messing with you.
Thank you, Monica.
Yeah, and shout out to the people that kind of tune in on both ways, just because they know I'm pretty much a perpetual fuck up at this. But I'm getting a little bit better. I am getting a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So, like at least when I screw up now, I kind of can fix it relatively easy.
No sounds. Monica is not getting any sound.
Yeah, nobody is, Monica, at this point. But give me 1 second, and we should be fixing that right now. Because I'm listening on my phone, too. I just happened to, I thought it was good, and then for some reason it just went on the fritz. But what I think it was I had the mic sound up for some reason. We should be good, though, because I see it changing on my phone. And in a second, we should be all back, and everybody should be gravy, and then I can apologize officially, and we can keep moving. But shout out to 4122 and 5166 in the queue also. If you do want to get in on the conversation, all you got to do is press 1. And, yeah, I think we good now. All right, fam. My bad. It took me a minute, but hey, if you listen to the show before, this happens pretty frequently. So we're all right. We'll keep it moving.
Occasionally.
All right. Yeah, you're right. Occasionally, I'll take that. But what it was is I was not paying attention to the. And shout out to Monica for being so patient. Shout out to Ronell, who just joined, Xavier. Shout out to Frederica, Aisha's page, Lisa. We got a nice little Dario. Man, shout out to Chester. Definitely appreciate that.
Yeah. I think I saw Q Butters in there.
No, and salute to the General, Hashim Nzinga. Hopefully, did I resolve that echo there, K-Mac? Let me know. But anyway, for those that just kind of joined in, it was pretty much kind of just discussing just sexual harassment more globally, for lack of a better term. And we touched on a couple of things that I've experienced over the years. Like one thing for me, especially in the medical profession, is the thongs. Like if you, like, first off, that's just inappropriate to wear at work. That really is. It is worn with an intent, for somebody, on the workplace. And if I got to see that multiple times a day, and I'm the only guy on the unit, what am I supposed to think? Like, I don't want to be bothered with that. I'm good. I can go home and get that, but I see this time and time again. You can't tell me that they don't have bras your size. And I don't need to see your cleavage all the time. And I'm the only man on the unit.
That's a little more harder to control than thongs are. I'm just going to be honest. For us women. Bras, you can buy a bra that is your size, and depending on the firmness of your breast, it may go haywire after a couple of hours. So that's a little harder. But thongs, yeah, that's just disrespectful. I've seen that myself with medical professionals and got a thong on, and those scrubs are going to be a little form-fitted. That material don't stretch. So you're going to see the imprint of your undergarment. So, yeah, that's definitely not appropriate. I totally agree with you on that.
But if you say something, as a man, if I say something, and I have over the years in that area, I was perceived as wrong.
I
was perceived as weak. Why is you complaining about her having on some thongs?
Oh, really? The person that you reported to?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not okay.
I was made to feel like that was okay, and that is not okay. And let me know. I think I resolved that feedback there, bruh. So I'm not sure. So hopefully, let me know how we sound, Monica. We good? My dance mama take us, bruh. Yeah, and I do not know. Like, I do know that bras are expensive. Don't get me wrong. And when I guess maybe I should have worded that differently. I don't mean like necessarily the bra, the intent with the bra. Now you don't need the super push-up bra, and like as a man, and especially as you get older, when somebody's flirting with you.
Okay.
You feel me?
True.
So that's what I mean by the bra. Like, I don't mean, I mean like somebody that is intentionally, and a lot of times you'll tell a woman, I'm married, and for some reason that's a big thing for her. She now all of a sudden I'm off limits. And it's that, like with that one, it's the same thing for both of us. Sometimes, like, I don't know if men, like, there's not, like at work, it ain't too much, like, it's a scrub, ain't too much we gonna do, but there have been times where I thought that let me see how I'm gonna put it. I was attracted to a woman at work before I was married. And actually, like that's how I met my wife, at work. But we worked at such a huge place that it wasn't like, I don't know, this place is blocks long. So I may or may not see her like in the week, let alone in the day. You know what I'm saying? We just happened to anyway, what I'm saying is, as a man, there's been times where, I made a pass at a woman at work and it didn't go well. And thinking back, it's not like I said anything inappropriate at all. I was very polite. But is that viewed as sexual harassment? Like, I wasn't mad at her, but does she then feel like I harassed her because it didn't go well? Like, how do like, how?
Well,
how am I supposed to know?
That's like, it depends on, what you said and what kind of woman that she is. Because something that someone may deem inappropriate may not be inappropriate according to someone else. So That's really subjective. You know what I'm saying? Me, myself, the first time, I won't be upset about it, probably no matter what is being said. But after after I respond to it and make it clear that I have no interest, if it continues, then that's when it gets annoying. And that's when you're probably going to have an issue with me. You know what I'm saying? So, some people just don't know how to take no for an answer. And honestly, I think we've all gotten sexually harassed in some capacity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I definitely would agree with that with women, and there have been times where I've seen some things that wasn't necessarily like super overt, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I mean, and now that we, when we were talking about doing the show, it made me think about that. Like, there have been times where I've been part of the problem, and I didn't realize that I was part of the problem. But like we'll have a boss that's a really big boss, and you see something that's just not appropriate. Like, I know she married, I know he married. Then again, and the first thing, I guess I kind of wanted to justify, well, maybe they just, doing their thing on the side. But that can't always be the case. And I've seen nurses walk away from conversations like with doctors, and they would say, I felt uncomfortable. And it's like, what do I do as a man? You know, like you feel uncomfortable, but you don't want to say anything. Well, I don't want to say anything because now I'm scared that even if I do, you may put your job before wanting to say something, like a lot of people have in the past. And we do got somebody in the queue.
You mean if you see someone else being sexually harassed, what do you do? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen it. I've seen like a nurse have a conversation with a doctor, and I was cool enough with that nurse where she came to me and was like, I felt uncomfortable, X, Y, and Z.
Well, if you're cool with that nurse, then yeah, you kind of have a responsibility as an acquaintance or a friend or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If it's someone that you know they're meek and kind of shy or timid, you may find that you have a responsibility in that. If it's someone who, you know, they're pretty verbal, then maybe not. Maybe you want to see if they're going to handle the situation themselves. And if it's a stranger, if it's someone you don't know, and you see her getting harassed, then yeah, maybe you want to speak up then. But I think that's kind of subjective as well. I don't know. It's really not a good answer because maybe somebody just want to keep their head down, and it's not enough of a bother to them to say anything, and they don't want the attention, they don't want the confusion, they don't want to switch jobs, they don't, you know what I'm saying? It's hard.
Yeah, but I look at it like that person is in the driver's seat. If that person is not going to say anything, then, like, why would I say anything? And that's how I justify it. It's like, I put all the onus of the morality in that situation on that person. Like I'm totally, devoid of that. And I'm not. My moral compass shouldn't be moved by whether or not they want to pursue it. Wrong is just wrong. And hold on, let me get to this caller 6334 right quick. What's good, fam?
Hey, how you doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm well,
What's going on, Queen?
Nothing much. I found it very interesting that you're talking about the double standard with sexual harassment, and I would have to say that is true.
And you got a background in your phone too. It's like a little echo.
Let me take it off. How about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely
okay. Hello.
Yeah. You know what? Let's see. Just keep on going. I'll try to fix it on my end.
Okay. Well, I know similar to like what you were saying at your job about the moral compass, I basically have that same problem not only at my job but also in the military as well. Because I feel like in that area it becomes a power struggle because you'll see it and the first thing you're thinking in the back of your head is if I step in, what will happen if that business entity retaliates, whether it's a corrective action, whether it's termination, whether it's demotion. Those are the things that come into play, especially when you're dealing with people in upper echelons of corporate entities. When you're dealing with the gender piece of sexual harassment, we live in a very, very, how can I put it, in a very Eurocentric, patriarchal society where it's always, everything is pretty much sexualized, from what you wear to how you look to how you present yourself. And it happens a lot in the workplace. You said the piece about wearing scrubs. Well, there's this company that came out that specifically makes form-fitting scrubs. So every curvature that you have shows. And their thing is, okay, well, we want it to look a little bit more trendier, doesn't look like traditional scrubs, so it doesn't, quote-unquote, look boring. But the flip side of that is the piece of it now becoming very, very alluring because what if there's a nurse or a person that is well endowed, down all around, and you can't help but look because we're in a very visual society. you know, and then you have this like convoluted sexualization of people, you know, oh, well, that person looks cute because his butt looks nice and her chest looks nice and this, that, and the third. And then it gets up to the higher ups, and then they say, okay, well, that cannot be tolerated. You know, we're going to have to do this corrective action. And as the sister said, what you might say to one person might not have the same effect as another person. You know?
But at what point, like how much can we legislate what people wear to work too? And that's why is that subconsciously putting the onus on? Because I would argue that would be heavily weighted to what women wear to work. Not saying that men can't wear something. I'm sure you can, but that would be more kind of slanted to. So are we like subconsciously like putting the onus on women?
Yes, well, no, because I don't think so, because traditionally the nurturing professions were saturated with women. It's just become a resurgence of men in nursing. If we're specifically talking about nursing and nursing uniforms at the moment, with nurses wearing scrubs and uniform, even in fast food, even in customer service where there's a uniform, to where it has historically been saturated with females because of the nurturing, and honestly, we have to be honest about it. A lot of it is visual and sexual appeal, especially when it comes to customer service. So but nowadays there are a lot of organizations that have guidelines for how to dress. They have protocols for what happens if you don't abide by those guidelines. You know, I don't know how enforceable they are, you know, or what the consequences are, but I know a lot of organizations do have those things in place.
And you know what? I kind of want to address a couple of things. Shout out to the queens on the live stream with the honesty. I love to see that. And Queen and Baker was saying this, that she was slapped on her butt at work by a supervisor, and she reported the incident. And because no one witnessed it, nothing happened. You know, Aisha's page, she said she has been sexually harassed at every job she has had. She says she blamed herself because she did not nip it all in the beginning. There's no way to stop, and she don't want to cause a scene. You know,
well,
damn, that's tough.
Yeah. And it is,
and see, that's exactly what I was saying. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, I've seen a woman in that position, and she didn't want to say anything, and it was like, well, I got a family to feed too. I don't want to risk my job, and she don't even want to say anything.
But what about just putting her aside and saying, hey, sister, I saw that. Do you need, you know what I'm saying? Do you need me to speak up for you? If you're going to say something, I'm here to support. I did witness it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe have a side conversation. And if she is like, no, you know, it was just the first time, or no, it didn't particularly bother me, or no, I'm not going to be here long, or whatever, then you know, hey, she said not to say anything. So then you don't have, you know, you don't have to feel bad about it.
Let me ask you this,
but
though,
also,
too. Is she right, though? And I'm not saying this is how I think. I don't want people to misconstrue that. I'm just asking, is she, if that's happened to her at every job, is there something she's doing that she should change?
No,
or is
she may just be an attractive woman. She just may have that energy that, you know what I'm saying? So, no, because I'm sure there's a lot of women, especially some of my sisters in the live stream, and myself included, that you don't have to do anything in every job that you go to. Just being an attractive person, just being a nice person. Me specifically, I'm a Southerner, so I'm hun, and you know, and to everyone, you know what I'm saying. But sometimes it comes off as a bit flirty. Sometimes I'm not going to say it's never that way, but I treat everyone kind of the same way, you know. You know, hey, hun, and being really nice and being really soft, but that's just, you know, how I am naturally. But everyone doesn't always take that the same way. So it's a hard situation. You know,
and some of the audio difficulties is like I'm looking at my screen right now. Like the snow here is ridiculous. You know, so that it's not gonna be perfect tonight. I definitely will tell you that. So I do apologize for that, but I can't control the snow. Just glad I ain't in it tonight. She said she would laugh it off or walk away, but when she found her voice, it stopped. Like that's dope. And that kind of ties into what you were saying. You know, maybe somebody did somebody talk to you? You know, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Queen.
That's where it has to be, because again, when you have that type of weight on you about being the breadwinner in your home to support your family, again, it goes back to what I said in the beginning. It's always dealing with a power structure. How far is whomever, whether it's a coworker, a subordinate, a superior, is willing to go to impose themselves, you know, before somebody says something. And a lot of times, you know, it does have to do with a person's self-consciousness or whatever, because they don't have at that particular point the confidence to say something, you know, or do something about that. Because I know for myself, and I'm going to speak from a military standpoint, there are a lot of women that were sexually harassed, you know, mostly by enlisted as well as officers. And they knew that if they went back and told their XO or their CO, that the reprimand would either be a demotion or all of a sudden they're put on night watch for 3 nights in a row with no sleep, because they're afraid of that person that was harassing them to, you know, do anything. So they just choose not to say anything. And there are a lot of females in the military, Navy in particular, because I was in it, that suffer from PTSD, because for years they went through this harassment, especially when you're trying to move up in rank. That's when it really gets ugly. And it's like, oh, well, you really want to be an E6, E7, E8? What are you willing to do?
Are you serious?
You know, very much so. Very much so. I've seen women who have stepped out and have said something, and master chiefs have been brought down. But in the inner echelons of the military, the person that became the quote-unquote whistleblower lost all their benefits, got demoted to maybe a petty officer 3 or 4, and, you know, got a general discharge under honorable conditions. So, like I said, you know, it's more so a power issue than anything else. And men go through it as well as women. If a woman is a commanding officer and she's attracted to a male subordinate enlisted, she'll do the same thing and threaten, well, if you say anything or you have a change of heart or whatever, literally they say in so many words, I can destroy you. And they literally can, because I've seen it. It's unbelievable. So question here is, what do we do about that? Who do we hold accountable?
That's a good one, especially with the military, because they are allowed to basically police themselves, and we all know how that works.
Oh, yeah, we do.
You know, I do want to get to another call though. We got somebody that's been waiting for half an hour. I'm sorry, I didn't see that 4122. And Alfie, that's you with the background noise. I don't know what that is over there. Yeah, I had to mute you. You ain't even know.
Wow.
Okay.
I know you over there doing other stuff. You ain't even paying attention.
No, I am so listening. What do you mean? I'm so invested in this topic. I'm listening.
Yeah, it is a really good conversation, and I'm looking at Carol, and she says she literally consulted with a voodoo witch doctor. That's how bad it was.
Ew.
Wow.
Did that work? Let me know. I would like to know. Did that work? You know, and I'm not sure if you can put people on to that witch doctor if it did, but feel free to do that too. Jeez, I totally oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me get to 4122 right quick. I'm gonna mute you, but I'm gonna bring you back in because we always have some great bills. So just give me 1 second. Let me get to 4122 right quick. What's good, fam?
Hi, I'm K-Mac. I'm glad to hear this particular show. I'm great, and you?
I'm doing good.
Okay, cool. This is a very interesting topic, a very touchy topic. I actually work for the military, and I'm prior military, and I can address that and what's being done and what is happening, what is changing. And so a lot of the things that have been spoken of, yes, they've happened. I'm very well aware of all the branches. However, there are things in place. Retaliation and retribution, yes, they happen, but there are things in place to deal with that too. I just want to, help folks understand it's not such a bleak picture. There are things that can be done. Unfortunately, in society in general, and remember, the military is a microcosm of the larger society. Unfortunately, a certain amount of sexual harassment is, in my professional and personal view, I've been in this field off and on for about 35 years. Unfortunately, there's a level of sexual harassment that's perfectly acceptable. And unless our society is willing to remove that from the very fabric of our society, it's not going to go away. And people like me will always have a job, always.
But with respect to the military, I'm just curious. Like, shouldn't the military be held to a higher standard as opposed to saying it's just a microcosm of? Shouldn't they set the standard?
Well, I say the only reason I say it's a microcosm is because we have the same issues as the bigger society. However, it is being addressed. It actually has a program. I actually am one of the coordinators for their program to directly deal with sexual assault and sexual harassment. There have been removals of senior leaders just as much as junior leaders. I came in at a time when no programs existed. And, I don't want anyone to just paint this picture that, they're out of control. There are measures. There are programs. So I say that because some of the things that I do, I deal with the retaliation, the retribution. I file reports when victims come forward, and I'll call them a victim. We take care of the victim. We ensure that they don't get, these, 3 days of 24-hour duty and all this mess. We ensure that because that's called retaliation, and that's an automatic report on my behalf. And some people will say, well, you work for them and they can fire you. Actually, they can't because I'm doing my job. I've been doing this 15 years, and I'm still plugging away. I have just as many men who come forward for sexual harassment as I do women.
Wow.
They're more comfortable coming to me. I'm a civilian. They prefer to come to a civilian rather than the active duty. That part, I try to help the active duty understand what they need improvement on. And some people are just, hell-bent on doing it their own way, which gets them in trouble. I have filed against leadership. I have filed for, everything and anything. I'm one of those that likes to fight. That program didn't exist when I was in. I had no one to turn to when, I experienced the nonsense from leadership. I was one of those voices, but I'm a fighter. I like to fight. You're going to hear my one voice whether you like it or not. Not everybody's like that. But they do have programs that, provide levels of protection. They provide them with the ability to be moved if they so choose. The offender will definitely be moved whether they choose or not. They have the ability to get all medical, behavioral health, chaplain services, safety plans, a lot of things they have that the civilian side, it has, but it doesn't have. There are protective orders, of course, for the civilian side. There are military protective orders, of course, for the military side. People can be moved at the expense of the government. Not so easy on the civilian side. They have advocates who they can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Advocates exist in the community, in the civilian community, but they're not always accessible because once they go home, off goes the phone. You know, I have 2 hotline phones. I take care of 2 spaces. And so I'm going to be responding 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yes, sir.
It sounds like you are doing a phenomenal job, and it's just not enough use.
But there are many of us out here. They're in the military, you know, for every base, there's a me. For every base and every branch, there's a me. This program that I have is in every single branch. And now it started out in 2005 as one name, and then it changed over and added sexual harassment in 2012, so it has a new name. However, all the branches have this program. None are exempt. The Reserves has it, National Guard, Coast Guard, they all have this program.
And there was a couple of things. One of the queens in the live stream, I do believe she's a vet too, and she just had a couple of things that she wanted. She wanted to know how the female combat service women are doing, and that's interesting too. Is that a different population as far as sexual harassment, and is that worse when they are, you know, like in war, like actively, or is it worse, you know, when you hear stateside?
In actuality, it's just horrible in combat for men and women, period. There are some things that are done that should never be done to a human. Unfortunately, some of the fraternities and some of the corporations do that as well. There's just a really messed up sense of brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever. My program is often notified when we have, you know, women that are going into the combat zone. I personally hear from the folks like myself, because they're in uniform as well, and they go down there too with them. If they need any resources, if I need to be there, you know, waiting for maybe a victim to come back, I try to keep communication open with them, whether they're in Cuba, Afghanistan, Iraq, Bahrain, wherever they're at, Africa, I keep open communication so if they need services. But what I find when they are in another country, I wish I could say that the women in the combat piece were the biggest victims, but it's about 50-50. In all honesty, it's about 50-50. And the thing is encouraging the men to come forward and letting them know there's no laughter, there's no judgment. We're here to help.
But see, it is though. Like, see, that's easy. That's really easy to say until that guy got to go back to the barracks, or that guy goes to the bar with his boys, you know, or you at the, you know, the movies. You see you know, like it's easy to say, but it doesn't stop.
That's what I'm talking about. There is a fabric, not just in the military. It's a thread in the military and in the civilian sector that says certain things are okay. That's the problem. You know, there is a dress code. Most businesses have a dress code, but people don't want to do that. Okay? I know for us, we have a dress code as a civilian, and our dress code is no deep cleavage, no see-through, no slits all the way up the side, business attire. You know, and I've seen women come to work like that, and I tell them, go home, go change. We have the authority to tell them go home and go change. I could care less if they like it or not. This is business, you know, not a place to try and find a mate. Let's keep it work-related. Let's keep that work flow going. People should be safe at work. So when I talk to people in corporations, they also have, you know, a dress code. Is it enforced? Probably not. Therein lies one part of the problem. You know? So I don't know any workplace that allows deep cleavage or a man to wear pants so tight that you can see his package. I don't know any workplace that allows stuff like that. But people will not correct it. And that's part of the issue.
That is.
The retaliation piece, we see a lot of that. People are threatened with their job. and
that is true.
People can be. Yeah, you got people, you got a family to feed. You don't want to come forward. So one of the solutions would be to provide them an outlet for help that can help them, because sexual harassment, sexual assault, it destroys not only the body, but it destroys the mind and the spirit. And to provide that person support is necessary. To just leave them out there, 9 times out of 10, I was listening to what you were saying about you don't say anything. Maybe you should just go to them and say, hey, I saw that. Are you okay? We need to be able to console and uplift one another, even if we can't say something because we would lose our job. That's one of the things that I try to enforce.
The fucked up part about it on my part is it's like I feel, like that's just like a man code violation in my book. Like that's that man's business. I ain't supposed to speak on shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I know it sounds silly. It really does. But you don't want to be that guy.
Understood.
Like it's a little different for me because I work around women. So it's more, it's more women. So I think the response would be better in my scenario. But if, let's say, I worked in a law office, a bunch of guys and a few women, well, I'm generally speaking, socially, I'm going to hang out with the fellas. So if one of them did something, it's hard to explain, and it's wrong completely on my part, and I'm aware of that. And the number, I'm sorry, but the telephone number, if you want to call in, is 347-855-8692. You just have to press 1 if you want to get on air. And shout out to Monica. She said they just started a call center, and she gave a sexual harassment class, and they thought that she was crazy. But that's dope that you did that.
Awesome.
And shout out to Aisha's page. She agrees that dress is important, but a creeper will be a creeper, and that's true too.
Absolutely.
And that's a fine line. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. That's just it. Usually, a normal person with a healthy drive would cease and desist, but that person who is a creep, who's going to move forward, regardless
of how. Anyway.
First of all, right, we need to understand that sexual assault and sexual harassment have nothing to do with sex per se. These are about power, which was mentioned earlier. The weapon is sex. And I think we need to understand that, this is about power and control. That's all these two are about. But the weapon they use is sex and sexuality. And it's unfortunate, it follows the same path as domestic violence, which I was in that field for years too, and we see a lot of it. And see, if we don't get a handle on it, I've been on Facebook for quite some time. I've met about 60 different women just here on Facebook. Every single woman that I've talked to has been sexually abused as a child from a family member. So it was never addressed. They were allowed to go ahead and do what they do. I bring that up because, move forward, most of my clients were sexually assaulted or abused as a child. A lot of the offenders have been doing it since then because nobody stops them. Nobody wants to be involved. Nobody wants to say, knock it off. That you can't do stuff like that. Everybody doesn't have a voice like mine. The last time somebody reached out to touch me, I tried to break a finger. I wish you would, because I don't play that. I have intervened with people I don't even know because I care about us as people. I don't worry about getting shot, punched, none of that. I've been held in my office at knife point, and I'm still here. I do what I do because you're going to get some battle scars doing this kind of work. But the people need the help. We can't just quit just because, we still see other people getting away with it. We're trying to get to everybody, but we can't. There are not enough of us. Even though all the branches have it, there are not enough of us. And if you see it, like the military says, you see something, say something. So if you don't say anything, you're part of the problem.
That's a fact.
If you know it's happening and you're not coming over and telling someone who you trust that's in this office, you're part of the problem. You can't. That's where it's got to stop. We have got to knock it off with this. I saw it and I just kept going. That's nonsense. Tell somebody who can do something about it. If it's not in your unit, your brigade, it goes to another one. No one says you have to stay in yours. And so when it comes down to it, we even provide
Queen.
services. Mm-hmm.
Where are you from?
Originally from New Jersey, but I live in Texas.
All right. Monica wanted to know, and shout out to Brenda for joining the live stream. I got another caller, but I don't want you to go anywhere, okay?
Sure.
But I want to make sure that, and if you have a story that, that something happened, call up and let us know. It's 347-855-8692. All you have to do is press 1. And you are tuned in to My Skin is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. From goons to gods, we welcome everyone. We only have one rule, and that's be respectful. So I'm going to get to 8337 real quick. What's good, fam?
Hey, it's me. It's Carol. How's everybody doing?
How you doing, Queen?
Good. I called because I wanted to talk more about the comment I made about the voodoo witch that I consulted with. It's not funny at all. It was just strange. And also the lady that was talking before, she has so many points that I've experienced and been through. I just wanted to jump in and I couldn't. But
well, you can now because she's still in on the line.
Okay. Well, getting back to some of the things that she was saying, in my opinion, when it's government, the jobs that you're in, it seems like they're the worst. These are the ones that's making the laws and they're in positions of power and they just treat women like they're nothing because the job, and I can't even really say where I was for reasons, but I worked in a government position and I was there for 17 years and I mean through every aspect from the beginning when I was just intermediate to when I became management, like sexual harassment it was just there in rare form. But the point I wanted to talk about was when the district manager's son sexually harassed me. Like, he really didn't have a position of power per se, like on the books. But he really did because he was the son. And he was just really mad because I was his senior and he didn't like that. And, I mean, everything from my hair, he used to say my hair looks like I stuck my finger in a socket. When I would wear it out, a braid out or something like that. He would purposely brush past me and hit me on my butt. Just things like that. Like he was reaching past and then telling me, oh, shut up, you liked it. And then when I got tired of it because it was so bad and there were so many instances that I can't even remember them all, that I finally got fed up. And I'm from Pittsburgh, so we called what Uber is now has always been here, but we called them jitneys. And
we had those in Detroit.
I had a personal jitney, and when you rap with the same person, you talk, you get to know each other, and that's how I met the voodoo witch doctor, or whatever you call him. And I started telling him my issue with the guy. And he was like, oh, do you want it to stop? And I was like, yes. And I was just really venting. And he told me, okay, go get something personal of his. It got really bad because I was considering it. And then at the end when he told me, okay, once you gather all this stuff and bring it to me, you have to be prepared because a life has to be traded. And I was like, excuse me? And he was talking about somebody had to die, and that's when I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to just deal with this because I don't know if I could deal with that.
Yeah.
That was way too much. I couldn't, but that was just one instance, and it just throughout my whole entire career, it was just really, really bad. Unfortunately,
did you ever say anything, though?
Well, with the district manager's son, no, because I didn't feel like I was going to be heard. He would always say, who they going to believe, you or me? And that was forever. And, you know, I was much younger. This was in the beginning of my career. And like I said, he told me, okay, I'm going to just have you move. And it happened. It literally happened. So just from that, it scared me because I needed this job. I'm a single parent. I'm taking care of these kids. I'm like, I can't leave this job. Yeah. And so you kind of just, you get to the point as sometimes I found myself dressing more homely, if you will, and making sure everything was baggy and that you couldn't see anything and no makeup and just as plain as I could because just to stop it. Like maybe if I just do this, it'll stop.
So at some point you internalize that. You know, like, and that's just horrible that you got to go to those extents. And let me get Roman on the show right quick. You know, I'm not gonna mute anybody. I just want to make sure we get the plug in. What's up, girl, fam?
Hey, what's good, family? How everybody doing?
Nothing much, man. We just chopping it up. We got Carol, and I don't think I caught the other queen's name. What's your name, Queen? 4122. Oh, she must have muted it.
K-Mac?
K-Mac. We got Roman on the line as well. But, Carol, that's just, wow. Like, that's just horrible. You know, and let me go on the record, you know, if at some point, you know, some sister hears this and I didn't do something and you know I should have, I do apologize. You know, because I'm not, you know.
Defeated. That I really did. I really felt like, you know, he had the upper hand. He had the power, and who was I? And, you know, just from my experience working there so long, that's how they make you feel, like you're nothing. And then they put these guys that really basically had no skills into positions of power, and they just run crazy with it. I mean, they talk to you any kind of way and treat you. And it's been crazy. I've tried to walk out many times. There was another guy. He was a marketing manager, and same thing. He was older. He asked me out. I told him no. And ever since that exchange, he just did everything in his power to make my work life miserable. I mean, kicking me, it was crazy. It was crazy stuff I went through. I contemplated his demise as well. I had to take time out and go in the bathroom and collect myself, pray, all kind of stuff. It was insane. It was insane.
Wow. Man, and it's like, you know, it's one thing to see women talk about it, you know, like 1,000 miles away. It's another thing when you hear the story personally. I think, man, I that's, and it's like, you feel powerless, and I'm talking about me. I can only imagine, you know, like I guess when it's happened to me, and it didn't happen to that extent. To me, mine is, you know, looking at what I was talking about is just like, you know, that's just somebody flirting gone too far, you know, and not in a big way. But hearing what y'all been going through, or the things that Kevin had to deal with, wow.
Getting back to what Kevin said, it was definitely about power. It had nothing to do with sex. It was all about power.
That's very true.
Look, I have this control over you, and you can't do anything.
That's right.
And one of the most unfortunate things is that it happens to a lot of us really young, a lot of us during our first jobs, during our, and then a lot of young single women, a lot of young single mothers. And unfortunately, there is, I hate to say it that way, but there's an incentive there for you to keep your mouth closed when it comes to needing the job,
Right.
So unfortunately, a lot of women choose to take it, if it's not assault, and just deal with the harassment. And, and we're often quiet about it. And the sister brought up a real good point about trying to make herself less attractive. That's a really big defense mechanism that a lot of women use, especially when they're in a long-term career.
Mm-hmm.
You find yourself doing things, clothes, gaining weight, all kinds of things just to make yourself less physically attractive. But that has a wide-reaching and lasting effect in other areas of your life as well.
I can only imagine.
That's not a healthy way to deal with the situation either.
That's got to develop into some intimacy issues as well at some point.
Yeah.
It
Intimate
can.
issues, self-esteem issues, definitely.
And if you would, so and when and what that does is that starts a pattern, in your relationships. Now you're dealing with them differently. And you may or may not feel like, like especially if you know that your dude is gonna go up there and beat the dude to a pulp. She may not say nothing.
Exactly.
I almost called them boys. I did, the nephews, a couple times, and I was like, you can't always take it to the hood. You have to address this in a professional manner. But when you do, like she was saying, when you do say something, you're made out to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
So why don't we send the nephews up here to whoop their ass? Maybe we should do that.
Facts.
At some point we got, and we got to start as men. We that's one of the first questions we ask. Like say one of our female cousins come to us and say, this dude sexually harassing me. Well, what you wearing?
Yeah,
that's one of the first questions we ask.
What did you
we
have
gotta
on?
change that.
Yep.
In our community, with the black population, you have to remember that most of us are curvy. Most of us got hips and butt and titties, and it's when you go into these corporations, these agencies, facilities, organizations, whatever it may be. Honestly, the guidelines are wrote for the white population. Just like when you go to the doctor and your doctor tell you that your BMI is too high, it's for the general white population. No one's expecting for Becky to look fine in her scrubs, but then Keisha that got more hips and butt, like she's gonna look curvier. You know what I'm saying? No one takes that into consideration, and that used to irk me in high school with the skirt at the knee thing, and you'd have and not always somebody white, but it could be someone with a slender frame, and they'll be walking around with a skirt that's mid thigh, and you never really pay attention to it. But when you got someone that got some curves, and even if they wear something to their knee, you still see it. It's like, have you guys seen that picture that was floating around a while back of the school teacher that had the skirt on, but it was form fitting? It's like how baggy. How much of an old lady? How loosely do you want her to wear to a point that she doesn't feel pretty and confident in herself? And all women know when you feel like you look good, you go out there and you conquer the world. And we all know it. So for you to have to dress down, that's going to turn down your confidence a little bit, and I don't think it should be necessary.
I mean, and I agree with you.
I agree with that too. This kind of like my only gripe with sexual harassment is it's a walking double standard. You know what I mean? If No, I'm not taking anything away from any female that's ever felt uncomfortable, experienced any type of trauma, dealing with this, or had any type of negative effect on their lives. You know what I mean? I apologize for all of that. Now, my issue with it is the perception of it from a male's point of view. Now, I'm a father. I have 2 daughters. I have all respect for women in the world. I guess what like my line is drawn is like if you come to work in the same blouse that you about to go to happy hour and after you get off work, and you come in and you wore that shirt specifically to show off your titties, and I say, damn, them titties look delicious. Like, am I automatically a creep? Like, why can't why can't I make a statement and just say them titties look delicious?
You're an asshole, dude.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir, wrong. No, sir. You do not tell a woman her titties look delicious in a work environment.
At work,
you say
under no circumstances is that acceptable in any employment place
no, it's
ever.
not acceptable.
But listen, now, with all that being said, and I came in a low cut shirt, low cut, for a man, you know what I mean? Like if I came in like it was casual Friday and I came in a low cut V-neck shirt, right? And, my muscles showing and all that. And the same sister I said them titties look delicious to said something of the similar, the same thing to me. Nobody had nothing to say about that.
But see, the only thing is sexual harassment is only when it's not wanted. If the girl who you told her titties look delicious, if she laughed and was like, I know they do, or said something back, then that's not sexual harassment. But if she felt that you wronged her, or she felt disgusted, or she didn't want it, or just anything like that, that's when it's sexual harassment. Because if she liked it, then you didn't offend her.
Your ass better be 100,000% sure though, because that's sexual harassment if she don't.
Right.
Exactly. Because it depends on what she says afterwards. Because once she likes it, then she won't say anything about it. But if she didn't like it and he wasn't sure or whatever, he would know just by her response to him. Because then she'll act like, you'll see it. Well, for me, you'll see it on my face. I'll look in disgust at you, even if I'm trying my best to hold my composure. Like it leaks out.
Right.
You can only hold that stuff in but so long.
True.
But there's another part to that. If you hear him say that to a woman, like let's say I overheard him say that to her, she can like that all day, and I can be offended. So it is sexual harassment.
That is true.
It doesn't have to be directed just to the person he's talking to. The people in earshot can be offended, and that's enough to go to HR.
But see, that would be typically someone. That's the worst part about it is like you don't even have to actually harass someone to be charged with sexual harassment. Like in that case,
exactly.
Like,
yep.
I mean, but bruh, if you come to work and you tell any woman your titties look delicious, that's like, how do you not anticipate that that's gonna be problematic at some point?
Inappropriate.
But listen,
I don't mean to laugh, but that is so funny.
It really is. Like, he is so ridiculous right now. Oh man.
And I get where you're going with it though, Ron. Like it is, like as far as the double standard from the man's stand, if it happens to a man, it is looked at differently, and we look at it differently though. If you think about it.
Dude, guys will be like, why ain't you hit?
Right. You know what I'm
saying? Why
didn't
you ask her out? Did you get the number?
What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
It's almost like I did something wrong by not accepting that advance.
But that's an issue within the male culture. That's not an issue. That's not our issue.
But it all ties into the same thing, though.
You can't put your failure to report something that made you feel uncomfortable on and I know it's gonna sound weird, but on the person that made you feel uncomfortable because you failed to report it. Like you're like that's you got to lay that at your feet. That you can't that you have that much. I don't know what you would call it, to where you wouldn't tell your friends that you felt uncomfortable being harassed by a woman because of the probability that someone's going to make fun of your masculinity or you know what I'm saying? Like that's a whole another topic that I think men really need to start dealing with, because if you get uncomfortable in your workspace, you absolutely have a right to say something, and you should, no matter who else is going to say something. Because if your buddy's not working with you and they're not the ones feeling uncomfortable and not doing their job properly, you shouldn't be worried about how they feel about your masculinity in that situation, because you're not there, to put on a machismo performance. You're there to do your job and to get paid.
I mean,
they're not putting no money in your pocket.
That sounds good, though, but that's just not realistic.
I know
like, ain't nobody about to go up to his boys and be like, man, old girl keep hitting me on the ass and I don't know what to do. That's just not something that you're going to do. Like there's what should be, and then there's what is.
Gonna do. But what I'm saying is you can't lay that at women's feet. That's y'all issue.
It is. Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. That is our issue. That's part of our culture, though. It's like we'll look at what a man does through a man's eyes. Not even it's almost like we have an out-of-body man experience, and we all get stupid for a moment, because we see a lot of this shit and we ignore that shit. And ignoring it is participating, no matter how you want to slice it. So yeah, we got we got a horrible culture, and it's been going on so long, like 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, like there was nothing a woman could do.
Oh, absolutely not.
So at the very minimum, at least we are making some progress. And
but then it's like the beginning of the conversation. When do you get to a point where a woman can just cry sexual assault and without any proof, without any, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's what the pendulum. When you make a drastic change, a mental change, so to speak. Sometimes the pendulum swings too far.
Yeah.
And at some point, hopefully it'll kind of get to a nice balance where there's checks and balances on both sides. Like I know, and I'm gonna get to you 9271 in just 1 second. But let's say you work at a nursing home and a resident accuses you of stealing $10. Well, you didn't steal the $10, but what they do is they'll suspend you. Do their investigation. They find out you didn't steal that $10. They will pay you for those days that you were suspended. They don't do that up front, but they, now if they come to find out you did in fact steal the $10, you fired and you're not getting shit.
Now, see, in government though, the powers that be, they look out for each other. And the part where I worked, that's just how it was, especially if you were management, any part, the highest tier, mid, or entry level management, they took care of each other. So if that's who was harassing you, you were pretty much screwed. You couldn't say anything because then you get all the shit jobs or all the shit hours or just a lot. They can do a lot. And like I said, where I worked, they were power hungry. To me, I took it like their home life was nothing. Maybe they're nothing in their home life, so they have all the power at work, and that's where they get their payback.
Yeah, that I would agree on that. I do need to get to one more caller though, Queens. So I'm gonna mute y'all for a second, and I have not. Where you go? No, Lotus hung up, huh? All right, I was gonna get back to her too. I hadn't forgot about you if you still tuned in, but let me get to 9271 real quick. What's good, fam?
Peace, how are you? Yeah, also harassment is a power dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are on the same level, they're more comfortable with saying whether or not an advancement is welcome or not. But it does go in reverse because I knew someone who came from Haiti who was working in the hotel industry, and his boss was a woman, was inviting him up to a private room all the time that he didn't want to be bothered with. So it's who is in power, who is the boss, and are they trying to coerce you into doing something, and are they trying to threaten your job if you don't cooperate? Or if you cooperate, then they start messing with your job because you did cooperate, because there's been, food service workers who have, okay, well, the boss trusted them into doing something, and then they did, and then they still, started harassing them and ended up firing them. It's a power dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that one. Yeah, and it's sad, and it should be, something quicker that we can do. I was looking at, I think this is from CNBC.com, and they said 1/5 of American adults have been sexually harassed at work. 1 out of every 5 people. That's a lot of people, and you take those numbers with a grain of salt, but either way, they can be off by a ton of people, and there's still a lot of people. That's just ridiculous. Like how as a society do we justify this shit? And more so, like, what's making us do this?
It's
home life.
I understand it's a power trip. You say it's a home life?
Yeah, from what I seen, the people that were doing that at my old job, if you would have seen the situations, like some of them, like I said, had never had a job before they started this career, and that's how they felt important to have that role as management, as your boss, until they were mean, they were power tripping. And then with the women, they probably, a lot of them were like too old to be living at home. I'm trying not to say too much, and somebody be like, oh, she was talking about me. But,
Right.
people that was living at home at their parents' house, and then they get to work, and all of a sudden they're in this position of power, and they're controlling things, and they're running things. So now you're going to feel their wrath because at home they're powerless.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you mention that, I think I have seen that. And like I've seen, I've had female bosses over the years, and one in particular, like, who was going through a really ugly divorce. And for a minute there, it really turned her into some other shit. Like, it was bad. Once she kind of, I guess, once it cooled down, as far as the divorce situation, she got back to who she was. But, yeah, I've seen that, where your home life can directly affect, the type of person you are at work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I never thought about that. Until tonight. So that's oh man. Tell y'all, man, I learned a lot of shit, about myself and about society on this show. Salute to y'all. Definitely appreciate everybody that tuned in and called up and participated and or shared their story in the live stream.
Definitely.
And you know what? You're right, Monica.
Something.
Oh, go ahead.
While I can appreciate a little bit about the home life, I'm not going to put a big percentage on that. Look at what society values. Society values money, power, sex, control. We see it in our movies. We hear it in our music. Look at the clothes. The clothes are designed for men and women. Some of the stuff that they put out should never, ever be put out there. That's why I'm saying there's a certain level in our community, in our society, that says it's perfectly okay. Our
that is true.
TV shows say it's okay. Our sports say it's okay. Our movies say it's okay. Our music says it's okay. That's why we have the problem, because it's okay. You know, when I do trainings with people, they're just like, society doesn't say that. Oh, yes, it does. You know, I'm a monster movie person. I can even find sexual harassment in the monster movies. You know, and there are some movies I just can't watch because of the degradation of the people in general that's happening. But we have become desensitized. Society makes sure of it. We are desensitized. And so that is why it's going to continue. Now, in your homes, if you are too strict with your children, there's a 50-50 chance that they can go the wrong way once they get out into the world because they haven't experienced a lot. But if you let them experience too much, 50-50 chance they can go the wrong way. I mean, everything is a gamble. You have to hope that you plant the proper seed within your seeds. And in order to plant the proper seed in your seed, you have to make sure before you have the children that you got it squared away. I know in my home, we didn't play none of that. We didn't play none of it. You pull your pants up, you button that shirt up, you be here at this time. We had rules. Yes, you can go to the party. Where is this party at? You know, I also had my children help me work with the children who were sexually abused, and I taught them about drug abuse, sex abuse, things of that nature. So they already understood how sick we are as a society. So you can't just blame it just on home. When you turn on the TV, when you look at the news, the weather girl, what does she got on? What does he have on? What does the newscaster have on? It's like, wait a minute, are you telling the news or are you selling sex? Which one are you doing? Because I get confused. So it's huge. The power, the having the control, that is huge.
Yeah.
And so that is why we're going to continue having this issue.
We've hypersexualized society and then get surprised at the results.
Right.
And I'm sorry, Queen,
so
I interrupted. What you say?
Like myself.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
I was calling from my experience because where I'm from, there's a lot of little small towns and things like that, and I was really referring to those small backgrounds and not like on a national scale, just from my experience, because like I said, these are some people that never dealt with diversity before. You know, they only know the people in their community. And in this institution that I'm talking about, all these people were somehow connected, related in some way, and that's the only way they could feel that power when they got to work. You know, they might be from the same community, or, you know, they were somebody's grandson or nephew or son-in-law or daughter-in-law, and that's how it was. And we had a lot of things that was called a political hire. When you had a person that was considered a political hire, that meant they could not be touched. Those were the worst people to work with. So I'm just saying, where I experienced that, that's what I was talking about as far as the home and how things went, because I know you're not familiar with this, but I'm going to just say it to make a point. There's a small borough called Turtle Creek. This guy never been really outside of nowhere, maybe as far as Monroeville, that's it. So all he really knows is his community, and then he gets to come to this government institution, and all of a sudden he's in a position of power where he was looked over before, and he gets there and he's this monster now because he never had any experience with anybody. I mean, some of the people that we're talking about, one was Asian, one was Greek, and even the brothers, even our black men was doing it. And it's sad. It's really sad because you would think with a small town it wouldn't happen like that, but my experience, they be the worst.
Wow. Honestly, I would think that a small town probably would be worse because you have less people to rock the boat, so to speak, less people to speak up and speak out. You know, because it's like if you say something in a small town, you live next to that person, and you're going to continue living next to that person. You're going to die living next to that person, and your kid's going to live next to that person more than likely. You know, so like the social implications are a lot greater for somebody speaking up and saying something. And we don't talk about that either. You know, like when people do say something, you know, how are they being responded to, you know, in their social circles? A lot of people aren't getting the support that they should get. Like I was saying earlier, you know, and as a man, you know, like we so sexist at times, not all the time, but, you know, our first inclination in a lot of aspects is what did you do to elicit that behavior? Even when we had, you know what I'm saying, like I was saying, like, you know, like my female cousin comes to me and says somebody harassed me at work. Well, what'd you do? Why should I think that you did something? You know, what were you wearing?
And our society is designed that way to basically be anti-woman. And in small places, it's always a man could come up and tell them, you just lied on a woman, and they automatically assume that he's telling the truth. Look at his motives. They don't even look at whether or not there's any proof of what he's saying is true. They just automatically assume that the woman is wrong and the man is correct regardless.
Now, see, on that one, I think that would be the reverse in like bigger cities. You know, like in the larger cities where they can replace your ass in a second, they don't even risk it. You know, a woman, you know, especially in this climate, you know, so to speak now, you know, a woman come and say something, you know, it might be a wrap for you instantly because they can find somebody else to do what you do that day.
Yeah, but like you said, that's recently. Because, you know, that wasn't going on 20 years ago.
It was not. You know, and like what should be the repercussions in that case? Like if someone, and it could be a man too, falsely accuses someone of sexual harassment and is found out to be lying, like what should be the repercussions? Should it be just more than them losing their job?
Yes, anytime you slander someone like that, you should be responsible for whatever loss they took for your slander.
That's fair. I can go for that. You should, and actually, I think you should get more. You know, you should get a little bit more. You know, like if that person has lied on you, not only have they embarrassed you, they, you know, and had you potentially either lose your job or get suspended, you know, go through this whole process knowing that they was lying up front. You know, you should not only get compensated for the actual loss, but you should get something for some damages too, because there's got to be something that says, you know, you can't do this, because what you inherently are doing is you are making it harder on the people that are actually being sexually harassed as well as the person that you lied on. Because, you know, now they got to jump through hoops. Now they have to prove it, so to speak.
Right. And even after they approve it, the person that's being accused is going to be a stigma there, you know.
Exactly. Yep.
Son.
People always figure you just got off on a technicality or something. You know, it's not. You know, you still gonna have those people that no matter what you do, they gonna look at you like you harassing people. You know, And I just want to say thank you to everybody that called up and everybody that participated. Definitely a topic that is not talked about enough. You know, and if you're going through something, please, you stronger than you know. Speak up, say something. You know, you deserve to be able to go to work or to go to school, just to go to work or just to go to school, or you know, wherever you're going, you deserve to be able to do so in peace. And so, if you don't know how to speak up and speak out, reach out to somebody. If you got to reach out to me, reach out to me. I will try to help you out. At least find somebody in your area. You know, so, but definitely appreciate you, Queens, for calling up and participating. And I'm only saying this because we got about 10 minutes left in the show. And thank you for everybody that shared their stories too. You know, and I hope we help somebody out there tonight. And did anybody have any last words? Because we got like 11 people on the phone right now. Don't everybody speak at once now?
Yeah, I think it's 11, huh?
Yeah, 5011.
My name is K-Mac. If I can help anybody with any kind of resources or support, just look me up here on Facebook, and I'll do my best to find support. There's a bunch of us around the country and in other countries. But this is what I do every day: sexual assault, sexual harassment, abuse, suicide. I work with this every single day. And I help civilians and military alike. It doesn't matter. But if I can be a help or be a resource, by all means, look me up, inbox me, and let's see what we can do.
Okay, how you spell that? Because I want to, if somebody hit me up, I want to be able to shoot them right in your direction.
K-A-Y space M-A-C.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 'cause that's phenomenal, too. Definitely appreciate that, Queen.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
All right. Yep, I got you right there. That's a dope profile pic, by the way.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, somebody was saying something?
That can be perceived as sexual harassment.
I was just thinking the same thing.
With today's technology, it's got the
I didn't hear him. What did he say?
He said a dope profile pic.
Oh.
And
it's not even a person.
That is sexual harassment.
Right.
It's not, because it's a profile picture of an aunt. Yeah, and it's with the Black Panther Party Queens, and I'm one of the Black Panther Party Queens, so, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Can be found there, too.
Yeah. Like, you got to say that earlier on in the conversation. That's so dope.
Yeah.
Save that for later.
Oh my goodness! And I'm not sure what we're gonna talk about next week. I'll let you decide there, Afi. What you gonna talk about next week?
Cyber stalking.
Cyber stalking?
You say what?
Oh, good topic. Cyber stalking.
That's an excellent
Keep
topic.
it similar.
Excellent
Domestic
topic.
abuse.
Cyber stalking?
Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
I like that. I like that. That's a good topic. I like the domestic abuse also. I think cyber stalking is excellent to touch on, with all the technology that we use. I think that'd be an excellent topic. Cyber stalking.
You know somebody that's been cyber stalked?
Myself.
Yes, me.
It's almost every woman on Facebook with the DM.
Yes.
Yes. That happens more often than not.
But cyber stalk?
When you block them, they make a new profile. They try to get your password and log in. They stalk your Instagram, on your website, everything. Yeah.
What the hell?
Crazy. You need to talk to
apparently, now I'm sorry. Like, I've never been cyber stalked. Like, what's wrong with me?
You probably have and just didn't know.
It's not a bad
I don't think
job.
you want that. I don't think you want that.
It's not a club you want to belong to. You're not missing nothing but a bunch
Exactly.
of Greek and heavy.
Not, especially if they're crazy.
I can't even like. Yeah, that's jeez. Like damn, it like being a woman in 2018 apparently is no joke.
No. Not at all.
Oh, and hold on. So we might as well add Rome back to the conversation. Apparently, he was licking some titties.
I don't know if I can take any more wrong today.
I'm sorry, good help, because I know that was wrong.
What I missed?
Delicious.
What? No, man. What you got, man? Who was you bothering at work, bro?
Nah, I don't want no parts of these titties, bro. No parts. See, now this is the case. This is the case in which I would make the delicious titty statement to someone, and they would overhear. Only people who would be offended by a statement like that are people with unsexy titties. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
Get off the line, dude. Get off the phone.
Man, do you walk around with a club, bro?
Hang up.
I bet you do, man.
We not gonna do that with you.
Man, you
say what?
You're a caveman, man. What's something? You are the problem, bro. I hate to break it to you.
No, I'm not.
It is solely your fault.
He started out by saying, I'm a father, I have 2 daughters, I have the utmost respect for women.
But
and then said delicious titties. Like you wrong. You need to hang up right now. Hang up. Hang up.
Oh my goodness.
Nah, all I'm saying is this. Why? What happened? What, like, people, like, I ain't gonna say it's everybody, but society today is just a little, like, I've been sexually harassed in the workplace by a female coworker. You know what happened when I went to the office? Niggas laughed at me. Like, what the hell you mean? Like, what you mean she touched your butt? Man, get your bitch ass up out of here, yo.
Wait, but
you know what I mean? Like,
aren't you the same brother who said that you can't walk down the street without getting attacked by women?
I didn't say that's
much.
exaggerated. That's an exaggerated statement. That's an exaggerated statement. I said that I have been groped by women.
No. Hold on, bro.
Y'all making that shit sound like I was the Beatles or something.
That's what
you made it sound like that.
Yes.
Did I make it sound like that, or did it sound like that?
You said you
made it sound.
said you a pimp. You a pimp. Everybody wants you. You can't walk down.
I never used any of those words. I just stated that women are more aggressive.
We record these shows. You know, we got.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I guarantee. I said that women are more aggressive and they go for what they want.
Pimp. You said pimp for sure, and you said
I never said pimp.
I'm not so sure, Rome, that sexual harassment conversation, like, you part of the problem, bro. I love you, man.
I'm not.
But I got to be honest.
Listen,
you part of the problem.
It's no
bro.
different. It's no different.
You got a caveman mentality, bro.
I've never come from a caveman. Absolutely.
I'm telling you, man. With the concerns, man, you don't listen to yourself, do you?
No,
I do.
You don't.
I'm just asking. I totally listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: why can't? It's the why that bothers me. It's the double standard of the issue that bothers me. I know I can't walk around and be like, "Damn, girl, that left titty look delicious." You know what I mean? I can't say that. You know what I mean? Because of the way it's set up. Like, I'm gonna automatically look like a creep for just making an observation. It don't mean that I wanna bite the titty.
But that's more than an observation. You know, before that comes out of your mouth, that's not appropriate to say.
But
you
listen,
don't want no.
she knew when she got dressed that morning to come to work.
You wouldn't be okay with somebody saying that to your daughters, though. You wouldn't be able to.
Listen, if my daughter got dressed, if my daughter came to work dressed provocatively and her left titty was showing, and the nigga said to her, "Hey, that left titty look delicious," yo, it is what it is. She knew that shit before she came to work.
Not showing. showing? What if it's not showing? What if she has a
Why are you
different.
justifying some fucked up shit?
Exactly. Yeah,
Like,
that's what
I'm not
where's the
justifying
accountability on your part? Why don't you,
I
you
can't
know,
believe I'm
where
trying
is
to- I'm
the
trying to explain to him.
pull her to the side and say, you know, Queen, that's a little inappropriate for the workplace.
Mhm.
Now, come on. Who does that? Who's doing that?
I've done that.
Because he's
I have
not
done that.
bothered by it. He's not
On
bothered
a regular
by it. He
basis,
wants to
I do that.
continue.
If it's my workplace and I need the people at my workplace making money for my business, I don't want all this court and all this other garbage going on because it's taken away from my bottom line. I'm not trying to have all this courting and it's all dress appropriate for the job, get the job done, do all that other stuff off my time. I do not want to use my time that I'm paying you for doing all that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You know, all that other.
All I'm saying is, when it comes down to it, it's a double standard. There's always gonna be a double standard. Even if we look at like Hollywood now, like Terry Crews came out and said that whoever grabbed his dick, right? You know what niggas did? Man, look at this bitch ass nigga, big swole, 380-pound lifting niggas. You let this little bitch ass white Hollywood producer grab you by your dick and you don't do nothing. They laughed at him.
But I don't think that was more about him being a big dude and being sexually harassed and looking weak. I think that was more about the fact that it was a man he was saying did it and he didn't do anything to the man as a big, strong
Okay, but what
dude.
you saying? What you're saying though is
more.
sexist. You are what you are saying, Queen, is sexist.
Okay, it is. It still is sexist. I'm just making a clarification. Most people thought it was funny that you got this huge dude who someone touched him and he didn't do anything. He kept it a secret. Not about the fact that he's a man that got assaulted and kept it a secret, but because he's a big dude.
What you kind of doing though is you agreeing with Rome and you don't even realize it.
No,
because
I'm just making clarification.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Well, let me chime in.
I'm not giving my personal opinion. I'm just making a clarification as of why a lot of people thought it was funny.
Okay.
I did not say it was okay, and I did not say I agreed with it.
All right, I got you.
But I think also with Terry, it went like he's this big black guy. Was a white guy, producer, a big wig in Hollywood, and for him to do anything to him, it would have fell back on him. You already know, we see it every day, how the victim is black, and then somehow they demonize the victim.
Exactly.
To make it like, well, maybe he deserved it because he smoked weed, or he was this, or he was that, and maybe that's what he was afraid of. Not necessarily the guy, or he was being a ban. I'll just say a ban, a BAN. We all know what that is, but I mean, I understand that, and then this is also his job, so he can get blacklisted. He won't be able to work and things like that. And I think it was more of those things that played into him not saying anything, instead of it being him just being a Neanderthal and beating dude to death.
Everybody hates Chris is syndicated. Friday After Next is a hood classic. Like, he ain't hurting for no money. Like, it's no way. It's just certain things you gotta like. It's just not happening. Like, I'm losing money for that. Like,
I'm beating the brakes off you, bro.
Yeah, I'm beating the brakes off it. It's no man is going to sit there and be okay with it. Like he wants to.
If you listen,
that's not just sexual harassment.
If you listen to any of those people. If you listen to any of those people in Hollywood, not just the actors, but the music stars and stuff like that, stuff is rampant. It's all through Hollywood what they do to people. That little white boy for years was claiming what happened to him and the Corys, they called him from back in the 80s, Corey Haim or whatever.
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. He's been saying that for years, and nobody pays him no attention. Wrote him off as crazy. And I mean, they face different things that we do. It might not necessarily been his money. It could be just the stigma of coming out to say this happened to him. It could be a lot, and we don't understand that because we're common folk.
Well, what I understand is a man grabbed me in the dick, I'm punching you, bro. Like that's like an automatic response. Like I'm it's all on. Like I'm not. Somebody grab you by the dick and you think about your job at that moment. Something wrong with you, bro. And maybe I'm being sexist too. I don't know, but your immediate response should be to punch their ass.
He could have been in his office. Door closed. Dude could have threatened him. You do anything
could have been in
to
the
me,
office,
I'll ruin you. I'll do this.
Could have been in a wedding.
I'll do that.
I don't
That's
care.
What
We could have been in a funeral. We could have been outside at the park. It don't matter where that at. If that transpires, somebody grab you by the testicles, the dick, punch their ass. Period. Like that to me. Like that's the part that I don't get. You know, that you thought about something else. Like that's a response right there.
Right.
You know, but
that's all the way there.
Hold on one second, Ron, because we only got 90 seconds left. I do want to say thank you to everybody that participated and called up. Truly appreciate your time and your wisdom. Make sure you go to designsbymonet.com, mrochelle.com, KMLportraits.com, myskinismysin.com, blackspot.com. That's BLAQSPOT.com. That's the social media site for us and by us. Shout out to the family, Liberation Minded Media, always and all days. Black Eye Stand Radio, Do the Knowledge Radio, The Rundown with Renee, as well as My Skin is My Sin. We are here every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're from Goons to Guys, man. Matter of fact, go ahead, Alfie, you got it.
You are listening to My Skin is My Sin Radio on Blog Talk, from Goons to Gods. We only have one rule, and that is to be respectful.
All right. You got to clean it up a little bit, but we getting there. And we got about 10 more seconds. We can. The people that's on the line, I give us about 10 more minutes. We can go past. But if you are not in the queue in 1 second, it's too late, and it's a wrap for you. So if anybody else did have something they wanted to say right quick, feel free if you are still in the queue. Knock yourself out. If not, we're going to wrap it up, fam.
I just want to thank the lady that called in and on the live stream for having the courage and also being encouraging and also for having an open mind and acknowledging that the brothers go through the same things that we go through. And the best thing about these conversations is that we not only talk about the issues, but we talk about solutions as well. So the sister Kay that offered the assistance, much appreciated, and I think you guys are phenomenal.
Aww. That was so wonderful. And that would be
Awesome show.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And shout out to K-Mac. So if you need a little assistance and you're going through something and you don't think you got somebody to turn to, well, I think we put you on to somebody you can turn to. You know, so salute to that queen. That's so dope. And Rome, bro, go get some help.
Hey, look, I don't need no help, man. Look, I don't need no help, man. Listen, I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying, like if you saw a new Cadillac and you was like, damn, that shit mean. Like that's all that statement is. It's the same shit. Like it don't mean I want to drive it. It means it's a nice car. And I'm gonna keep moving.
You're terrible, dude. Your analogies are terrible.
Like, that's gotta be the worst shit you could have possibly said. It's like you step in the shit, and instead of just trying to walk away, you step deeper.
You play in it, like you play in a puddle, like you just stay jumping and shit.
I mean, a titty is a titty. Like I mean, damn, like
mute him, Jobs, mute that man, mute him, cut his mic off.
A titty is a titty. I'm just, and if you showing the titty and I comment on the titty,
because you said no, a titty is not a titty because you said you don't like the titties at work.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the person who comes in every day. They're dressed appropriately. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about, we all got the coworker who come in and they dress provocatively, but they be the first one to complain about sexual harassment.
The cousin phase of the workplace.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
bruh! But it still does not give you a right.
If your titty out at work, I got the right to comment on your titty. All right, cover that shit up.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Goodness,
it's no different. Like, but see, you see how people are so passionate about it when it's females, but when it's a dude, ain't nobody got nothing to say.
Well,
it's a double standard. It's bullshit.
I've never worked somewhere where a dude came to work with his penis out, so you may have a point there. But even if it was out, I wouldn't go around saying,
wait a minute. You went to work and a dude had his penis out.
No,
you gonna keep it real?
I've never worked somewhere where a dude came to work with his penis out, but even if he did, I'm not gonna be like, yo, you got a delicious.
You gonna call the police?
Like, that just don't make sense. Yeah,
no, so are you gonna keep it real? So when are females gonna admit? Females need to admit that they're just as bad as dudes. Females be doing dick watches, you know what I'm saying, like all this type of shit, bro. I'm trying to tell you, it's deeper. The rabbit hole gets deeper. They just not going to admit it. Like females are just as big as creeps as dudes, man.
That's a good point, though. That is a good. I don't know if it's equitable, but that is a good point.
A penis watch. What is that? I don't know what that is.
Oh, stop it.
Oh man, come on now.
I don't know what that is. No.
You don't know. Maybe not you personally, but I'm pretty sure you know someone.
Is that like the gray sweatpants? Is that like the gray sweatpants?
The gray sweatpants, the slacks, whatever the case may be.
Normally, women have discussions like that when we get together with wine and stuff like that. We're not at work doing that.
Oh, that's not true.
Are.
That is not true.
Yes,
that's
you are. That is not true.
Nobody is walking up to a guy with sweatpants on at work and like commenting on his penis or trying to touch it. Nobody.
Right.
Where do y'all working at? Where are y'all working at? Cause you
at real jobs, where are you seeing these women in strip clubs? Because that's the only kind of job you got to be talking about.
No, I'm talking about government. I'm talking about government sites, government headquarters. Like this ain't.
She just come to work
these
with
ain't no harassment.
You are forgetting that you are talking to the most interesting man in the world. Like he
right. Let him tell it.
You know, like he
right.
Right. You know, so his whole perspective is just warped.
I'm not sure if it's warped or if I'm just being as honest as I possibly can.
They must not be afraid of. They must not be afraid of losing their job or position.
She got a tight shirt on.
It's no different than the sister who come in with the stretch pants on and her ass fat. Like, you may not even say it out loud, but subconsciously you're going to be like, damn, that ass fat. And keep walking. What is wrong with that?
How many women have come to your workplace and grabbed their crotch?
But that's touching. That's not looking. That's not observing.
I mean, if you look at a woman's ass and you think to yourself, that's a beautiful ass, that's totally different than telling a woman your titties are delicious.
It is.
Like how you don't see that is problematic.
No, I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is this: if you wear a shirt with your titties out, you can't get mad if somebody comment on your titty. That's just what it is.
Yeah, you can, bro.
All right, man.
You know,
if
at
I
some
walk
point,
outside in spandex, if I walk outside in spandex, bro, and someone be like, man, look at this goofy ass nigga walking around in spandex with his tight ass and shit. I can't get mad at that shit, nigga. I put the shit on. Like, how the fuck I'm gonna get mad?
Bruh, get off the line. You get. Are y'all serious?
K, if you can fix him, you got to get like a Nobel Peace Prize or something. he needs like they need to just snatch you up right now, bro, and take you to like the sexual harassment vault, and just let you sit there watching videotape after videotape of how to interact at work.
And I've sexually harassed nobody, but you trying to give me, you guys are hitting me with the stigma like I'm the boogie, the third party sexual harasser guy or something. Like, no, it's not me.
You are. You know who you are. You're sexual harassment panda. That's what you mean.
I'm sexually honest. If a titty looks delicious, it's delicious. Like, it's black and white to me.
Can you stop saying that, though? But, like, can you stop saying that? Just stop saying that.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, my God.
That's a shame. Your mama didn't breastfeed you very long. You breastfed as a child.
I love y'all, man.
Man, you really, bruh. Anyway, man, let me wrap this show up, man. Jeez, man, you really. And just for the record, Rome's comments do not represent my skin as my sin. That is his opinion.
Disclaimer.
Right.
Oh,
put that out. All right. Anyway, it's a beautiful thing, though, man, that we can talk about it, and even such a hard topic, still understand it. You can laugh about some things. But please, bro, please, man, you got to reevaluate life, man.
Hey, cover them titties up, and we all right.
That you've just sexually harassed like every female listener we have.
I'm not talking to anyone specific. This is a statement. It's just a blank ass statement. It means nothing.
All right, man. It does, but y'all have a good one, man. It truly was an honor and a privilege. And thank you. Peace, and we out.
Peace.